Alright. Welcome to the sideboard, guys. Today we've got Sultai Reanimator. And we're going to be running 3 rounds of this in the queue. And let's go ahead and kind of get straight into the deck. Thanks to everyone for coming out to the live stream today. Oh, wow. We've got some feedback. Sorry. And let's go ahead and kind of
my
get straight
dashboard
into
pulled
the
up.
deck. Thanks to
that.
everyone for... Well, we know about how long the stream lag is. So let's take a look at the deck here. We've basically taken a Sultai Reanimator deck that we were running with a little while back and kind of added the energy theme to it. Now that's made our land fixing a lot better. Now with our old Sultai version we weren't really into green mana. However, with this version we are, and because of that there's certain things we've kind of had to back off on, and a lot of that has to do with double black. We can still hit double black and that's not as big of a problem, but hitting it on turn 2 is a little bit harder than it was for us previously. So Gifted Aetherborn is not actually going to make this list as much as I wanted to have it in here. But getting a look at the land base here, we've got 4 Aether Hubs, 4 Blooming Marsh, 4 Botanical Sanctums, 2 Fetid Pools, a Field of Ruin, 3 swamps, an island, or sorry, 3 forests, an island, and 2 swamps. Now, oh wow, did I really do that? So 3 forests, an island, and 2 swamps. So we need 1, 2, 3. 1. And sure, we'll pick this one. 2. Alright, so sorry about that. We couldn't just go in with non-matching basics. I mean, come on. It's one of the basic things to Magic, right guys? Alright, so we've got Fatal Push and Attune, both 4 ofs as our 1-drop. And then, I mean, granted, we want this one on 1. If we get this one on 1, that's great. But you know, that's just basically a piece of our removal. Although removing their 2-drop when we're on the draw is really nice. Now, strategic planning. This is going to be one of the cards that kind of adds to our Reanimator theme. We've seen this card get a lot of use in the God Pharaoh's Gift Reanimator decks. So. Strategic planning, we're going to make use of that here, along with Champion of Wits for our discard. And that's going to be how we fill the graveyard, although we're not so much about filling the graveyard as we are playing a fair game. And we do that with unfair cards, like Glint Sleeve Siphoner, Rogue Refiner. You will see a singleton copy of Manglehorn in here. And I know a lot of you are going to get a little upset with me on the fact that there's only 3 Rogue Refiners or 3 Champion of Wits. I don't like, some of you are going to be upset from one side or the other, but that's kind of how the split went. Our 3 is a little full with trying to run Champion of Wits and Rogue Refiner, and in testing the Manglehorn just kept coming in. So Manglehorn's actually really good right now. Moving on up to our 4-drops. This is where things get fun, I guess you would say. And now we do have the classic 2 Vraska's Contempts that go right along with your Fatal Pushes. You know, that's just kind of part of the black removal package right now in Standard. We could probably actually even stand for a 3rd Vraska's Contempt, as we don't have many ways to gain life in this deck. Pretty much none. Other than that, we do have 2 copies of Bristling Hydra, and we've got 2 copies of Hostage Taker, along with a singleton copy of Gonti. Now these are all really good enter the battlefield effects. These are all really good effects that we want to get multiple times. Granted, you know, Bristling Hydra, we'd rather just protect that and kind of, you know, go off of that. The deck kept needing a good, solid, hard to kill threat. And as much as I didn't want to go with Bristling Hydra, and we originally had the Hostage Takers, I ended up actually splitting the difference, and in testing, I really liked it. You know, there's some games where you're actually going to want the bristling hydras, whereas other games, you know, you're not going to want them. And then in certain matchups, hostage taker's just a liability if you think they have enough removal and things of that nature. But we did want some hostage takers because we've got a lot of ways to actually bring this hostage taker back to the battlefield for either, you know, 3 mana or 0 mana. So, you know, and when I say 0 mana, yes, there's a mana investment initially, but if you play Liliana and tick her up, then the next turn you're completely untapped when you bring a creature back from the graveyard, and that can allow you to cast whatever hostage taker takes in most situations. So, you know, that is extremely relative, so I did want some hostage takers in the deck, but we also wanted some bristling hydra, so we kind of split the difference. Gonti might actually be a luxury in this deck. It may actually need to be a third hydra or a third hostage taker depending on what your meta would be. But moving on into our 5 drops, we have the 2 Scarab Gods and we have Liliana's Death Majesty. Now, Liliana is really good. Her first ability does exactly what we're wanting, with it putting cards in the graveyard for us, also giving us a blocker. So like Vraska, and a lot of people have gotten used to Vraska, like Vraska, she can protect herself really well. Even her negative ability can bring in cards like Noxious Gearhulk, things of that nature, to help protect her. So Liliana is extremely good at protecting herself, and if you ever ultimate her, and that may or may not, you know, come around, but if we ever ultimate her, it can normally clear the board considering there's no zombies really being played other than, you know, Scarab God zombies. Also, anything she brings back from the graveyard is also a zombie. Works really, really well with Scarab God's first ability. Now, granted, the first ability is not the game breaker, but it is helpful, especially in those board stall scenarios. Now, moving on into our 6 drop, it's a little bit cluttered, and this is where our Reanimator thing comes in. These are the cards that we normally want to be discarding with, you know, say Champion of Wits and things like that. Just kind of putting those away for safekeeping. Now, one of the things about this Reanimator deck is we didn't want to be so in on Reanimator that we just lost non-stop to decks like, or decks that had Scavenging Grounds in them. So, we're running 3 copies of Noxious Gearhulk and 2 copies of Demon of Dark Schemes, as Demon of Dark Schemes is just really, really good against these Whirler Virtuoso strategies and strategies that create a lot of tokens. The Vampire strategy, this deck can pretty much just shut that deck down just from the enter the battlefield effect. And then once you get to start paying energy to just pay 3 mana to start bringing creatures back, and like the Scarab God, you can bring them back from any graveyard, from a graveyard. So that is useful. Now, that last word, bring them under your control, tapped. So it's not like we're going to be bringing in blockers here unless we're bringing in something that can give us blockers, like say maybe an Angel or something of that nature. Oh wow. Forgive me guys, I haven't been able to see chat here. Right, what's up guys? Sorry about that. My mod stopped your comment for one word that was in it. Sorry about that guys. I was trying to get chat where I could see it there. Looking at the sideboard here, now I know a lot of you are going to be really happy to see the sideboard, as a lot of people have been wanting to play with Yahini's Expertise lately. And we are a good Yahini's Expertise deck, guys, because of how many 3 and under cards we have. Our Death Gorge Scavengers can be brought in with it. We can cast Appetite for the Unnatural. Now, we're not going to be casting any kind of, you know, counter spells off of Yahini's Expertise. I mean, unless I don't think so. Somebody would have, it'd be some weird timing, and there's just no good reason for it. So, but Die Young. This is another card in the graveyard or in the sideboard. Originally, this had been Doomfall, but I wanted to go with Die Young because we moved into the energy package, and one of the things I do like to do with Yahane's expertise is if you can wipe the board and then they're only left with that one creature that normally survives through that, you can normally clean that up with a small Die Young, or it's like, let's say it's a a Hazard or something of that nature that just didn't die. You can finish that up. So Die Young's really good there. Mainly our sideboard is to help against red deck. As the other decks, we're going to just try to fight them a fair fight and out attrition them with our champion of wits and things of that nature, and the recursion of cards. So one card that I didn't get in here that I really wanted to make some room for was River's Rebuke. I just didn't have room for it. I really wanted to find a way to maybe squeeze a copy in, and if we were going to squeeze a singleton copy of River's Rebuke in, it would probably take the place of one of the two Veraskas. Not to mention that there's two Veraskas here in the sideboard as well, guys. So let's hop into the lobby and see if we can get a couple games. We'll get started on game one and kind of go from here. Reanimate all the creatures. All of my music is video game music. Sorry, I was going back and reading some of the other chat from before I got started with the deck tech. And all of my music is video game music, most of which comes from either Halo, Final Fantasy, any of the Elder Scrolls sagas, and then a lot of those games that I played growing up, like Mario, Street Fighter, Diablo. We've got and they're all remixes, and you can find it all over at OC Remix. They're right here on YouTube. So we are still waiting on an opponent here. I mean, I could, I guess, join a league, but only have time to run 3 games. Hello, Radil? Sure, I'm butchering your name. I'll butcher everyone's name. It's just my nature. It is the first match. We just got through going over the deck in general and the changes we made to it once we shifted it into an energy package. A lot of you may remember this deck. It was a blue-black deck that had just barely splashed green for Veraska. And here lately I've been saying, let's put more things into energy. Let's see if we can make other little shells or ideas or play styles. Basically, can we make energy personalized? So thought it'd be a lot of fun. Alright, we're playing against Hannibal. Well, we will not be keeping this hand, guys. Now, this is better as we do have a hub so that we can strategic planning and dig for an additional land. So we'll keep that and an attune on top. Yeah, we'll keep that. We're on the draw. That just made this so much better. So we'll just Blooming Marsh, go get. Okay, so we're playing against pirates. This little thing might be a problem. So do we just get our blue source here? This way we can save the energy for either the double black or the double green, and we'll just have blue. I kind of like that. Yeah, we'll just save it. I mean, we've got 3, so we'll just save the energy for, you know, when we need doubles. Well, I'm not super family friendly, but I try to refrain from cursing on YouTube and things like that. It's just friendly, you know, like magic. I I know that a lot of people are just kind of not self-aware when we're at magic. You know, we're just kind of doing our thing, hanging out with our friends and things like that. And I want my stream to be considered safe for, you know, a mom to let their young child watch or something like that. As long as they, I don't know. There's probably a many other reasons they wouldn't want their child, you know, watching me play Magic, but I don't want cursing or something like that to be one of them. Just personal opinion. Okay, well, unless he pulls out a pirate's cutlass, that Manglehorn ain't gonna do us a lot of good. But we're also not in the market for casting Manglehorn right now. Well, what if we take it from him and we play it? Would that be better? I mean, because we are that deck. What if we play your favorite Ixalan creature? We be the ones interested in winning then? Fortunately, though, I actually don't know if Hostage Taker is the right way to go, considering he can just sack. I was really hoping to see another land in here. I think I'm just going to take the Fatal Push in case I don't have anything else to cast next turn. We'll put the creatures in the graveyard, save those for later. Black-white wins? Or blue-white wins? I think it's pirates. This dude doesn't have flying, but he doesn't need flying. And then Siren Storm Tamer. As of right now, I don't really know what the deck is, but I know it's hitting me for 3 a turn until I do something about it. Right? Maybe he's got something planned with this Daring Saboteur. Perhaps this is a Saram deck. Esper Pirates, maybe? He threw a River Sneak in the graveyard, so he's just hard to block things. So I'm thinking it's like a Saram deck. You know, like, let's enchant these little dudes with stuff and... Hey, Cartouche. I mean, that's the strategy I would run these 3 cards in. A Jace deck? So, I would say Jace if this would have been the Plunderer. I have to draw for... And we have to add to the board here. Hopefully we'll get a land. We're still at 16. We're not taking overwhelming beating here. And that's going to be good for us. We can get to there. There might actually be a small window here where we just outrun him, or we just race him. Or at least race him enough that he puts the brakes on. I thought the same thing. Why wouldn't you put it on this and give you a 4, like a 4-2 first strike? I mean, that's... Okay, so he's going to deserts hold my rogue refiner. It's definitely an enchantment deck. I'm just waiting to see Saram. I like the additional creatures in it. We didn't do so well when we ran in the enchantment deck. Okay, so now we gotta kill stuff. Yeah, we'll just kill it now while he's tapped out. I mean, technically its value is starting to get to the point where he would keep it over letting something else die. Not exactly what we want. We're still taking 3 here, so we can't sacrifice the glint sleeve. We need to be able to draw a card next turn. We need that to be a land. Conviction, enchant creature. Okay. I mean, this is really close to Dev's deck if it's not Dev's deck. Okay. We're not blocking yet. Danto Vanguard. Okay. So we are going to take a life and draw a card here. We've got to hit an untapped source. It's pretty brutal. So yeah, we play the Fetid Pool. Just play out a Manglehorn. And we go into chump blocker status. Now he'll have to spend 3 mana to make this unblockable. So if he spends his entire turn to hit us for 3 next turn, I guess that's what's going to happen. Which leaves us completely blown out to Island Spell Pierce. Well, we are definitely not in the air. 100% out of this, but it's not looking great, guys. So I don't see why one of these decks would have Spell Pierce. Ouch. 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 That kills us. So let's go to 1. Land Fatal Push. Not it. So Vraska's Contempt here. We gain 2. He plays this. Do we even have an out? We have no outs. No outs. There was a Spell Pierce right there on the battlefield. Alright. Yeah, I just didn't have an out. Alright, so this looks real good since we won't be targeting anything. I'll drop the Gonti. So what do we cut here? Is Champion gonna be too slow? I think it is. I would really like to bring in the Death Gorgers, but no real point in that. I think we just have to outpower him. I think Yahini's expertise is the only thing we really need to bring in. So we'll do that. We'll drop. I kind of like Champion here. I'm going to drop a Hydra. So Die Young seems good as just another removal, but I'm planning to just wipe the board. I mean, what does he have? Oketra maybe? We'll be on the play. Yeah, we'll keep this. So we'll just go Forest, Swamp, Glint Sleeve. I mean, he got a really good game 1 against us. Alright, so Attune. We'll get our Swamp. Mental Misstep? What are we waiting on here? Die Young is kind of only in the deck for Hazoret, or any of the other, like, or Aronis or something like that, like an indestructible god. Doesn't do really any good against any of the other gods, but I can't think of any other reason to just need a Die Young. So we'll grab that Swamp and we'll pass the turn. I mean, other than just increasing the number of removal, but I don't think we're going to need that, as a lot of our creatures actually have removal on them, especially for decks that have 2-for-1s. We just need to play around the Siren. That card's really, really good. We're just going to glint sleeve here. And we'll pass the turn. So I could have Aether Hub and then Strategic Planning, but I just want to get my glint sleeve down. We're going to start just, punching a little damage just as early as possible. Probably going to kill that. Oh yeah, we're definitely going to kill that. It's a good answer to glint sleeve. Yes, we will draw a card. Okay, so we get a Rogue Refiner. There's certain things that just have to be done this turn. If we play Strategic Planning, we do not have the mana to rogue. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We're fine. My bad. Sorry. Okay, so we'll go ahead and play this. We can do everything now. Fatal Push. Yahini's Expertise. Demon. Well, we can put the demon in the graveyard. I think we just take the spell, as both the creatures would be good once we get a Scarab God back. Do we want a Hydra next turn, or do we want to Rogue Refiner next turn? Or do we want to Hostage Taker next turn? Or do we want to Yahini's and Rogue Refiner? I don't think Bristling Hydra is what we want in this, like right now. We want that in our more controlling matchups, I think. So let's go ahead and attack. And we'll pass the turn. We can't draw a card next turn, but that's okay. What's up, Hellbent? So the lack of creatures here, I mean, he needs to be putting down creatures to be able to threaten me, or at least enchanting this thing. And he's not doing that, so he's quickly falling behind if he doesn't spend his mana here. Even to just counter my Rogue Refiner or something of that nature. Sure. Sure. So if I can just produce energy, then again we cannot, because we need the blue. We are going to be casting Rogue Refiner this turn, so I think we just cast that and then make the decision on which land to play after that, because again I would actually want a blue land in play, or a blue producing land in play. How's that? So let's go ahead and do this, because we know that has to be done this turn, and we can't attack. So, and we just get a Noxious Gearhulk. So let's just go ahead and play the tap land, and we'll pass the turn. putting it on a token. I mean, if you need to get in for damage. We will be drawing a card here off the Glint Sleeve Siphoner. So we get another hostage taker and a strategic planning. Shall we race? I don't think he's got enough creatures to stop us from racing, right? So on we go. Granted, maybe I should have played the Scarab God, but I want damage now. And that was just a good, clean answer to what was on the board. Also, if we do get into a state where we need to Yahinis, that'll put, you know, hostage taker in the graveyard for Scarab God. Like, this is all about to get really, really smooth for us. Don't know how we lose from here against this style of deck. We're still at 15. I don't know. We have way too many threats. It is a Saram deck. It's confirmed. Hey, we got a blue source. Well, I guess we're just attacking in here. And we can Yahinis, strategic planning, but it's not exactly what we want to do either. It's almost worth it now. I mean, I don't want him to draw some cards. I'm okay with letting this die. Like, I'm okay with all of this dying. Yeah, we're gonna do it. Okay. I would really like to have some more energy. Let's do that. So we'll have 7 land next turn. And we'll have energy. We'll be able to do whatever we want. Enchant this thing, dude. Enchant it. Make it big. It's a dowsing dagger. What? Sure. There'll be more energy when I feed them to my demon. Not the land we're looking for. Let's just go get an island. So we could continue to play around with this game, or we could just start trying to finish it off. Like, close it out with the Scarab God. I guess we should, considering our opponent's just destroyed over here. This way we can go ahead and get into game 3. I was trying to not let him know that we had Scarab God, but it's not been doable. And we will pass the turn. I guess that was a punt there by playing the untapped source, like playing the island, where as I could cast the Scarab God, and that would have given me 8 mana for next turn. So I guess that's a punt. Wrong land. Whether it's going to matter or not, probably not. Like, our power level should just be well beyond this this deck. So when you guys are watching like Dev's decks and he's laying out, you know, his rating and things of that nature, when he's talking about power, these are the type of like situations where he's talking about. So we'll pay 1, 2, 3, 4. And we will use his ability to bring back, is it Champion of Wits? Is that what we do? Just draw cards? Yeah. It's our best way to ensure that we're going to get an untapped source here. Yeah, there it is. So we'll get rid of that, and we'll get rid of that. And then we will scry one. Put that on the bottom, play that. And now we're going to start swinging here. We have no reason to fill the graveyard right now. We have no reason to draw cards right now. Where we have good cards in hand, and we have good graveyards. So at this point, while we have an active Scarab God online, I don't see any reason to cast anything. Like right now, I'm just wanting to get this flying blocker. What's up, Ryan? Yeah, I'm just streaming a 3 games here with this, and then we're gonna swing over to my local LGS and play a 6-round Friday Night Magic, then cut to top 8. I love it. Where else can you get a 6 rounds of Magic? You know, just in the Swiss. Oh, this is good. Make it bigger. Okay, so at this point, next turn I'm actually interested in casting a Noxious Gearhulk. Alright, so he's not swinging with that, so Hostage Taker it is. Okay, so he scooped it, Hostage Taker. I was like, why isn't it letting me select it? We do. We get about, I think last week we had like 37 or 38 for standard, and then modern was about the same. Mana Works in Phoenix, if you're ever in Phoenix, Arizona. Really nice people. Um, they're they just I think they just cracked a couple cases of iconic masters while I was there today. You know, so they're always adding to their shelves and things of that nature. So although the shelves do get bought out quick and then they have to redo it, but a lot of fun, great to be there. Like, it's just good people. I don't know if we need to change anything about the deck. I don't think this Manglehorn is useful to us at all. I would actually like to play with the Deathgorge Scavenger just for some lifelink, because the deck does have some fairly explosive hands. Possibly the Die Youngs. Let's go with... So we just want to make sure that we have kill for absolutely every creature, right? So we'll go in with the Die Youngs. And we do not need Bristling Hydra for this. Alright guys, game 3 here. Man. So any land lets us cast a 2-drop. Blue land lets us dig. Green land lets us get 3rd mana. No land and we just die. Don't think we can keep this. Okay, so this is better. We'll keep this. And yes, we will put the island on top. Okay, so we only need Aether Hub for black until we can dig to black. No turn 1 though. I mean, you don't get turn 1 attune every time, I guess. Saram. Early Saram. Doesn't that normally mean you have a second one when you're willing to cast the first one? So I'm just going to play out my cards here. Not going to worry about that Saram for right now. Okay, so that's a body. That's another land. That's another kill. We try to steal Saram on turn 4. What are we doing next turn? Killing Saram? Don't need the land. We have 2 lands right now. Now, if it was a black source, I would reconsider. I think I want the Glint Sleeve Siphoner, but I know it's safe to just have more kill spells here. Although we don't have a lot of energy. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take the Glint Sleeve Siphoner. And I made that call based on the fact that I do not currently have a lot of energy. We're going to be taxing our Aether Hub a little bit. We might want to either draw some more cards with this Glint Sleeve or have some way of producing some sort of energy. Conviction. Okay, so that's going to make that large enough that we are not going to be killing it with a Die Young this next turn. Fatal Push would be nice. That's pretty good for us. That is pretty good. So we can't kill it. So we can just Glint Sleeve. and pass. Now we're going to take a little damage here. These are all things that are just going to have to happen. Cartouche. So that'll draw 2 cards for him. Okay, he's got a 4/6. Ryan's first meme. What was his first meme? Well, we can't yet, so we will not be drawing that, or drawing an additional card there. Do get a strategic planning. So if he's trying to play around, like if he's got a counter up, he's gonna love this. Like if he's trying to stop like a kill spell, now if he's got like a dive down, he's good. So he's gonna go ahead and return the conviction. So if he was holding like Spell Pierce or Negate, then that's why we went that over trying to Vraska's Contempt it. Okay. Let's try to do some damage. Always play River's Rebuke. Well, I almost put River's Rebuke in this deck, and I did not. Daring Saboteur. We actually get to net an energy off of that. So I am going to spend my energy to draw an additional card here. Okay. Not exactly what we were looking for. Let's look at what we're going to need. We know we want to do this. So let's do that. Let's see what we get, and then make the rest of our decisions from there. Okay, so we could attune this turn to give us enough energy to draw yet again, but I'm actually more interested in playing my Aether Hub and just casting Die Down or Die Young on the Daring Saboteur and swinging. I guess we'll take the extra Glint Sleep Siphoner here. So let's go ahead and attempt this. Actually, let's cancel that and just swing and see what he does here. I doubt he's going to block. We will play Die Young. We'll play the Blooming Marsh. pass the turn. That worked. Like I didn't have anything to stop the spells like I was expecting. So you're going to enchant the sackable dude? He is, he is. Tamer Tishana. That sounds pretty good. I am going to be playing Red White Approach at my local LGS. I had to borrow the cards from some good friends, but got the cards together, and we're going to be playing some Red White Approach. Okay. We have reanimator things now, so we have nothing to reanimate. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I say we just kill the Siren Storm Tamer, play a land, and play Saram and pass the turn. Let's try it. Hold on. Let's play the land. Enlightened Birdman. Sounds like a Jess deck. So only reason we backed up there was to play a land to play around Spell Pierce. Okay, so he's got negate. No point in swinging with this, as he can just block it. And stacking damage is not going to do us any good. So we do need a way to kill this hostage taker, like to kill our hostage taker. Because I'd really like to just play Liliana and bring it back. I think we're going to take another point this next turn off of our glint sleeve. Okay. Saving Grace doesn't actually... That doesn't like shorten our clock any. It just makes him huge. Which... Okay. So we will draw the card. And I think we've played around with this long enough. Enlightened Birdman. I'm still curious about this Enlightened Birdman deck. Okay, so we're just gonna play Liliana. Make a zombie. Okay, we put Rogue Refiner in the graveyard. That's good for us. Sorry, I'm gonna spend our 1 energy here. Didn't have much choice. Double black for Lily. So we're definitely putting him on a clock. He's got to do something. For those of you that are watching that don't know Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, he runs a similar channel to mine, and you know, he got some really good content. I definitely recommend check him out. Just look for the guy with the headphones on and the logo with looks like he's having a bright idea. Yeah, just select him and check him out. Okay, so he's just gonna return it. What does he want? He just wants to replay it on the river snake. Okay. He just wants more bodies. Well, that's good. So I assume he just sacks here so that we can't target it or we can't gain the life, but I'm okay with it either way. As long as he loses one of them. Oh, he's going to dive down. Downward diving. Let's grab a Rogue Refiner. A little more energy. He needs expertise. Play Blooming Marsh. And we're swinging. We're 100% not worried about anything that he can kill. Like, I would be more worried about him just taking damage and like somehow attacking back than I would be him killing one of our creatures. And that's one of the beauties and one of the things I like about a Reanimator deck is the fact that you can be a little more free. Like, he's going to do us a favor if he somehow finishes off that hostage taker, but he's not going to. And here we lose a token. I am totally okay with that. And that should put him at lethal, considering our menace threats. Should put him at lethal. Alright, that was game 1. Game took a little longer than I wanted it to. Let's go ahead and jump right back into another. Against the Ancient Evil. Not the Ancient Evil, but against Ancient Evil. Ancient Evil, join the channel. We can kill something. That's all we can do. So let's mulligan this. We can start drawing cards. If we get to that. Yeah, we'll keep that on top. I will check Discord later, Ryan. I did see that I had missed messages on there, but I'm sorry, but the only reason I have Discord's you, so I don't use it that much. Gotta join those discords, man. That's something I need to do one of these days, is eventually get a Patreon or something, but I don't know. Alright, so I mean, I guess we just play another Botanical Sanctum here, as we don't really have a lot of plays early. This Teamer Energy deck, if he comes out swinging, he's gonna put a hurting on us. Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to do some kind of, you know, collaboration or something like that, where, like, maybe the community, because I mean, look at the chat. Most of our communities are the same. I mean, it's the Magic community, but let's say we, you know, we give the communities like some options. Hey, you guys like give us an idea. Ryan will build a deck around it. I'll build a deck around it, and then we'll like play or something. I don't know. Oh no, we're never gonna untap. Is this Saffron Olive's new deck? I love this card, by the way, guys. I really think this card is good. I thought it was good when it was first printed. Still think it's good. I just don't know exactly what strategy you want to be in for it. I think you want to cast it after you cast your Enigma Drake. But removing a card from the graveyard is not exactly what you want with an Enigma Drake either. So, Wow. So this is happening. Right. Yeah, like we wouldn't have to wait for anything. Technically, if we wanted to even be competitive against each other, we could have it like to where, you know, we're blacking out our hands, but that would mean that, you know, our hands would be blacked out for you guys as well. But I'm okay with playing some perfect information games. Well, I guess we chump block. Chumping is not what I wanted to do here. Right. I think if we decide that we're going to do like some type of gameplay against each other or something like that, we pretty much just need to do open information, um, because, you know, to stop information from each other would stop information from you guys. And I don't really think anybody wants to really watch that kind of chat, or that kind of game where you don't know what's in either player's hand. So we're going to spend our energy here. Okay, well, killed that one. I mean, that's 100% not how I wanted to do my turn, but oh wow, okay. What is this little... What is this? What is this symbol here? Well, we can't even play anything this turn, so let's pass the turn. Can you imagine if someone like Bantus you, and then you cast Rubble on them? That'd be good. Alright? Like, oh, it's like, just take 3 turns off. I'll rebuild, don't worry. But then again, it costs you 3 of your mana to cast it, so It's like, it's definitely a win more card or a continue to win card. So I want to go land Rogue Refiner Glint Sleeve. Or attune land Rogue Refiner Glint Sleeve. See how he answers that. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll attune. We could just use a basic forest here. Well, we're back up on energy. A much more supervised chat with extra lag. Oh, like where we just kind of talk about magic? I'm game with that. Definitely would like to lay out the I think we just try to kill this. I'd like to lay out, you know, the questions beforehand so I can at least reply with intelligent comebacks. So we'll get him to deal with this card, and then once he's dealt with it, actually we're probably just going to play that Scarab God next turn here. That's pretty good, especially with energy. I'm going to just play the Scarab God for now, though. I mean, he's got scavenger grounds. He can exile the graveyards if he wants. Gearhulk? Oh, Chef at Monitor. Okay. So he gets to ramp up an additional land. I like that. Well, that definitely seems good. I would throw energy, the discussion of energy up there, and then make sure that it was prioritized towards the end of the discussion. You're going to want to talk about everything else before you get into that. But it is definitely we must talk about energy. Oh no, there goes my Scarab God. Now I'll need another threat. Whatever will I do? Do we play this? I guess not. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would give us 4 mana to cast any. Yeah, we'll play it. This way we have at least 4 mana to cast whatever we get off of Hostage Taker. Another hour? No? No. Bounty of the Luxa. It's like a Ryan deck right here. And our so we will draw 2, discard 2. I'll discard those 2. Okay. Let's see what he does here with his... Of course you are. Of course you're playing Bounty of the Luxa. Card's good. It is. And just giving you Rogue Refiner mana at the beginning of your... Oh, really? Really? Oh, darn. Alright. So, Gearhulk's an all-star. Right? I mean, we have to say Gearhulk's an all-star there. Free Rogue Refiner mana, right there. Bounty of the Luxa. I think we just sit on what we got. Opponent's a little bit salty about us top decking that Noxious Gearhulk. I've only got one game after this anyway, Ryan, so I'll probably try to check, stop in on you there before I head to my LGS. Yeah, he got a little salty about that. Okay, so we need reoccurring threats. Although he does have a little bit of pressure, but he has really ample ways of like getting rid of ours. I'm gonna get rid of Manglehorn here. I like Gonti. Noxious is good. The opponent asked me why didn't I run 5 Noxious, and I told him, I said I get this little triangle every time I try. So let's see what we're going to play here. We just need to cut one more card to make room for these 2 Veraskas. I guess we could cut Fatal Push, although I really like being able to kill his early creatures, because he's got some early creatures as well. I actually expect to see like a Ronus or something like that out of him, which kind of makes me want to go with Die Young. I also think Negate would be good. Tell you what, we'll see if we can just fight him in the early game. We need to cut one more card. We're going to be fighting in the early game. We're going to be... Man, I know he's got Glorybringer. So, Demon's really good at blocking Glorybringer. Hydra's exactly what we want here. Gonti, he's got so much good stuff in his deck, we want it. I think it's a strategic planning. Okay, here we go. Alright, so we've got lands, we've got Noxious. That's all we've got. We just said we want to fight him in the early game. Okay, we're going to mulligan. Alright, this is what we get for sticking true to our guns here. See how it works out. Man, that's just all the fight in the early game, ain't it? Yeah, I mean, I like Glint Sleeve Cypher. I'll take an extra. Okay, so I'm just gonna Fetid Pool and pass. It's kind of what he did with the Sheltered Thicket. Alright, so he's gonna attune. He'll get his land. We'll actually just island play ours, unless we draw like a green source. Ooh, there's a green source. So now we can actually Aether Hub and play the Glint Sleeve and be able to draw next turn. Assuming it doesn't kill it, but we will have the 2 energy to be able to draw next turn. And it's safe for us now that we have our green source. So we'll just go ahead and do that. I think that's probably the hardest thing about energy. When it comes to playing energy decks, opening up with the proper land sequence, or having the proper lands so that you can get your entire deck to come through the way you want them to, that is exactly how you're going to want to open up. Okay, so we'll just play the green source, Rogue Refiner, and okay, so we get a Noxious Gearhulk. That's another it's good top end, and we are heading there. So the plan was to beat him in the early game, to start pressuring him early so that he had to answer us. And he's got a Servant. Okay. I really like playing Gonti here. Don't think he'll trade. And we're going to play the Gonti, and the hope is to get like one of his Gearhulks off the top. So let's see what we get. We get an Hour of Devastation and a Sheffet Monitor. I don't think we can discard this card. I don't think we can cycle it. So we take the Hour, I guess. Not really what we were looking for. That screen's not exactly right for you guys, is it? Let's fix that. Oh, wow. Okay, so we will not let up the heat here. So he goes reduce. No, we will not pay extra. And so if he wants to rubble us next turn, that is perfectly okay, because again, that's one of those cards where it's really good if you're ahead. It's one of those win more cards. But if you're behind, it's all it's going to do is delay the inevitable. The opponent said, and I lose. Wonder what that means. Wonder if that means he loses, or does he just think that he's going to lose because he only got 3 lands. Sometimes you got to play it out. So he's over here upset that, I mean, hey guys, why am I having all the fun? If we got an opponent that's actually going to talk, y'all can read it. He's getting mad. Oh man, he's just, yeah, he's just really mad now. I asked him how many lands he had, and I said I run 22 and 4 tune, and he said I have 29 and something like 7 a tune. He's tilted. Tilt. It's great. I hate putting people on tilt because I go on tilt a lot. I don't like it, but you have to capitalize. We are wanting to play Magic here, so we're definitely going to draw that card. That's just terrific for us. We'll just go get this black source. We'll play the black source, and then we're just going to swing in with everything. And if he happens to get a creature next turn, we'll counter it. If he doesn't get a creature next turn, we'll play Vraska. I assume that he's like just hoping to Hour of Glory here. Well, you know, sometimes people get mad, and that's just how it is. I've been the guy that gets mad. Like, you'll see every single time we go 0-3 in the leagues, because you know it's my custom. You go 0-3, drop. Like, if I go 0-3, I've had it with that deck, and that deck is not going to show me anything different that day than it's already shown me, because I will no longer be in it. You know, you just kind of go on tilt, and that's true tilt. And I do express that when I get a deck that goes 0-3, whether it's my fault or the deck's fault. You know, that's, like, isn't all of this just terrific? I'm just gonna play cleanup. What's my poison? Like, what deck do I just can't really stand? Oh, actually, I admire people that can get meal to work. Because of the amount of hate that is currently in meal, if you can meal me, oh, you've really done something. That's impressive. However, it's normally red deck. Red deck gets under my skin like no other. However, this most... Oh, wow, I did that. I'm sorry, guys. I tapped all my mana for Vraska at the end of combat. But yeah, mine's normally red deck. I normally hate losing to a deck that requires absolutely no skill, but I also appreciate the fact that those decks are around, that those decks are a thing, because you know we need decks that are going to allow new players to be able to pick those decks up and have a semi-competitive chance. Like, if any of you watch and listen to PVD, PVD did this article. It's about I forget which one it is. It's one of his many rants, but he was talking about, you know, you're only going to gain about 10% from just outplaying, just being a better player than your opponents. You're only going to get about 10% of your wins from just being better. And with that being a, you know, a real number, you know, that being, it is just Paulo saying it, but you know, this is PVD, guys. And I agree with his analysis on it. So in his opinion, I assume you're getting about 10% of your wins from just being better than your opponent. So the rest of that comes from, you know, deck choice, pairings, matchup, a lot of other things that are just completely out of your control. So when someone who plays red deck and they have no clue what to do, but they can just run over you. The same was The same was in effect back when um, what was it called? Abzan mid-range, Abzan control was around, where they would just go, you know, like 2-drop, 3-drop, Siege Rhino, and the 2-drop and the 3-drop were devastating depending on what, you know, era you were playing in. It was normally like Anafenza into Rhino, and the curve was just absolutely insane. I think it was like Fleece Mane into Rhino. He finally scooped. Okay, so we have got time for one more here, guys. But with Abzan, you had that where you could have any person that never played Magic at all. You could teach them how to play lands. Well, we'll Rogue Refiner, Glint Sleeve, and Rogue. Yeah, this is decent. A little more lands than I would want to see here, 5 lands, but we should be able to draw some cards. But you could hand anyone one of those decks and say, just play the one with the right mana sources for whichever turn, or symbols for whichever turn you're on. So just play a 1-drop, a 2-drop, a 3-drop, and a 4-drop, and you'll win. Just keep turning things sideways. And the deck actually played out like that, which was super annoying. Alright, well, we will just pass the turn here. Now, I don't actually have a reason to cast, like, to kick off this second attune yet. So we're just going to get down this Glint Sleeve ASAP. And I don't have any reason to not draw a card next turn with it, so we'll do that as well. Assuming that it lives. I mean, it does have to live. What was that? Okay, so someone no longer needs a ride to F&M. Gotta help your friends get to F&M sometimes, guys, you know. Alright, so we got another Rogue Refiner. Are we pretty sure this first one just gets countered? And we do just cast it anyway. I mean, we have redundancy in it. Oh, we gets it. We gets it. That was a really good draw for us. Drakehaven. Okay, this is the cycling deck. Yeah, we'll draw. So if this is the cycling deck, I think we just want to get as fast as possible here. And I think that means another Rogue Refiner. I'm just gonna go get a forest really quick. And we will get in for 5 here. So the problem with Drakehaven is it requires mana after you have cycled the card. So he's going to have to cycle then. We have so many cards in hand. I guess we just draw, or just swing, let him do his cycle thing. Okay, so he makes one Drake. He blocks a Rogue Refiner. I guess. Maybe not. Right. Renewed Faith. He cycles it, he pays for it. Okay. Alright. Gains 2, back to 15. Takes 5 more. Loses his Drake. Can't block that, buddy. Can't block that. Sorry, I kind of got into my game here a little bit. We were talking about, decks that get under your skin and things of that nature. There are a lot of decks that do that to me. I actually think we just play Liliana here while he's tapped, guys. Just this deck, I don't see a lot of ways for it to deal with Lily. Other than just, crashing at her. I don't see it having haste either. We draw all the cards. We don't need this many lands, though. That's right. Discarding the hand size like a boss. Well, have we taken a defeat tonight? I mean, this deck may defeat us, but have we lost? We haven't, have we? I need to be like Terran and get up the match counters. Terran's got really good match counters on his layout. I like that. So, what do you guys think about the deck? I mean, we're undefeated so far, so really should have put it in a league instead of just in the queues. But I really didn't have time to play a full 5 games tonight with it being FNM and all. And again, I recommend supporting your local LGS. Go play FNM. Okay, so he tapped out to... Oh, look at him discarding the hand size like a boss. Yeah. I am 100% okay with this trigger here. Like, if he spins it, he spins it. Yeah, we'll draw a card. That's pretty good against Drakes. So we can gain 2 life and put out a huge threat, or we can just play Hostage Taker. Well, we know we're doing this because it's the only thing we can do. I would kind of like to just play Champion of Wits twice. Let's do that because it seems good. Yes, we will draw 2, discard 2. Discard, discard. We'll Fatal Push that. And move to attacks. Yeah, so he'll scoop it up and we'll go into game 2 here. Alright, well, so the deck is fairly well placed to beat all of the decks that are built to beat Teamer. So if you think everyone is out to get Teamer, this deck will destroy them. If you think So basically, it's like Teamer. It's just another menace. However, the matchup against Teamer is kind of 50-50. I would say that the matchup could be better than that if you could get the um, Aetherborns in here, the gifted Aetherborns. But so okay, so let's say that he just creates a bunch of those things. I would like to be able to grab a counter off of him. I don't think Hostage Taker is the best card in this matchup. Actually, I think Hydra would be better. Too late, we're keeping one Hostage Taker. Glint Sleeve. Yeah. This is not as fast as I would like for it to be, but this will do. He put the card on top. And we draw a demon. Okay, so we'll just play this and pass the turn. So here we actually get to play an Aether Hub, but we don't actually need the Aether Hub for energy, so we're just going to spend that energy. Oh, that gets even better. So now we really don't need it to even do this other stuff later. I assume he counters this. Right, like, what is he doing with life if he doesn't have sensor here? Maybe he gets his early Drakehaven down? No early Drakehaven. Well, we can spend the energy here then. Whoa. No point in getting blown out by sensor when you don't have to. Counter my draw spell. He did not counter our draw spell. I like a tune here. Do we go for it? Yeah, we'll do it. Why not? He did not counter a tune. So because of Moto, I don't want to accidentally click that forest. I really want this island. Okay, so he cycles. Want to cycle anything else, buddy? Of course you do. That's what your deck does. Alright, so he only cycled 2 things away. I like this deck because it draws through its deck really, really fast. He actually cast a Curator. That's a thing. Wow. We're getting to these demons here. Come on, Gonti, give me something good. Okay, so let's look at the top 4. Too bad we don't have cycling cards. Fumigate, I guess. So Gonti is, like, so far, we've played him twice tonight. And the first time we got an hour of Devastation that we never cast. And the second one we got a Fumigate, which... Flying 4/4 on the battlefield, I might cast it. We'll see. He wants to race with me. He can win too if I can't get these down. Are you going to tap him down? You've already let me enter combat. So do we like Yahenni's expertise fatal push? No, we don't do that, do we? Okay. 4/4 flyer beating me in the face. Opponent's only got 3 cards left though. Okay. And glint sleeve. Okay, so we go for it. Even though this is not what I want to do, it's what we're going to do. We're going to Yahenni's expertise. And the reason I'm doing this over the Fumigate is because I want to be able to get the glint sleeve out. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this is going to work. It's a really risky line, but I mean, if he's got a counter spell, and he hasn't cast any yet, so he very well could. He's cast Censor. Okay, well, that worked. So he's going to make a Drake, and we are 1 land away from casting Demon. Well, that's not good. Alright, so I guess we just Fumigate this time. So let's go ahead and draw a card. Yeah, that's not horrible. Let's swing for 2. And then we'll try to Fumigate. Alright, so we're back at 12. And next turn we get to start dropping the hammer. Yeah, that guy. He's the hammer. And we're going to play them back to back. Okay. You can barely afford to activate the first one, and you think you can afford to activate 2. Now, this is just a 5/5 beater for us. A couple of decks at your LGS. Love to sub. A Waste Not or Raider's Wake. So, I have both been the person who sideboarded against particular people at my LGS, and I've also had people come up to me and go, "Hey, you playing that deck? Well, I'm ready for you. You know, I've got some stuff in my sideboard for you." So I've been the person that people sideboarded against, and you know, it feels good to know that someone, you know, thinks enough about you, but then you never play them because they lose a game or 2 early. So looking at it from the other perspective, oh man, it's horrible. Looking at it from the other perspective, though, you know, when your opponent sideboards against you and they have the exact answers, man, it really hurts you and feels real good when you sideboard against someone and you have everything you need to destroy them. So I'm just going to Yahenni's expertise, Glint Sleeve, Siphoner into a strategic planning here, just to deal with the current two Drakes. I don't know, he had to cast out that one. This will help. This will be fine. We'll just do it again. Yeah, I think that's the better play, because it'll live through Yahenni's expertise. So I can just do what I was going to do this turn, next turn. I mean, we still haven't beat this dude. He's definitely got the pressure on us. But we get to start crashing in. I guess I'll bring Vraska in against this deck. So I'm just gonna play Glint Sleeve. And strategic planning. I think this is going to be the last turn that I get the opportunity. Oh, we didn't play land this turn. We're doing this. What do we have in the graveyard? What does he have in the graveyard? Curator of Mysteries? Is that better than a Rogue Refiner? I think so. Alright, well, we'll pass the turn here. Well, he just passes back. Okay, so we'll just play our Rogue Refiner. That leaves up Vraska's Contempt. And then we'll just start swinging. Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is lethal. He has to have Settle the Wreckage here. Or he has to start cycling to block. Yeah, okay. So he cycles. We'll probably never know how good that Gonti was, because the Gonti allowed us to put 2 of that artifact, the sarcophagus, on the bottom of his library. So we'll probably never know just how good that Gonti was in this game. So he double blocks there and goes to 1. Okay. Am I missing something, guys? I'm going to keep up this Vraska's Contempt just in case, but okay, so he scooped it up. Well, guys, what do you think about the deck? You've all seen it. We just watched it play 3 games. Granted, we did not run into the menace that is Teamer Energy, but we did come out. We did have some good tactics to take at the opponent. Again, we are just taking a Reanimator idea. We won. We went 3-0. We were just taking an idea from, you know, the... Is chat messed up? Move it up. Anyway, we were just taking an idea and putting it in an energy shell. I recommend that a lot of you actually do that. Overall, I think the deck was really, really good. I would play around with the numbers a little bit. Maybe the Manglehorn can go into the sideboard, but maybe that's just a couple of the matchups we run into. I know in that last matchup, if he would have happened to have had our sarcophagus, we would have wanted the Manglehorn. So, you know, overall, I like the deck, and I'll probably actually do a outright deck tech on this deck at some point this weekend. But for now, here's your gameplay. I hope you enjoy it, and if you do play it, let me know in the comments, you know, how it ran for you, if you liked it or if you didn't like it, or if you think some things just aren't necessary. Granted, it would be really easy to say it's just not necessary, just play Sultai Energy and go with that, but you know, we're trying to play some other cards other than the ones in this deck. That being said, I had a lot of fun. I hope you had fun. We'll see you next time here on the sideboard.